What's up, everybody? This is BattleNative, Mr. Wayne Crew. Again, I would like to send out my apologies for the last video. The audio was out of sync with the video. Sometimes that happens. I don't know really for what reason, really, but my Elgato gives me trouble sometimes, and I think it might be due to trying to record at the same time. But anyways, earlier today I tried joining in on one of my friends, Infamous, and I have him featured on one of my earlier videos with him doing pretty well in the tank. He's one of the top tankers in Battlefield 4 on the PS4 network, one of the most competitive ones that I know personally. He's been in a shitload of clan battles, over 100, with various different clans that disbanded and came back together, what have you. He's been in the top clans in the Battlefield 4 PS4 community. But anyways, I thought this footage was just pretty cool. We weren't in a chat, we weren't talking with each other. I had hopped in and just decided to play along. We were watching Lord of the Rings at the same time. It's towards the end of the movie right now, so I decided to put this up. Maybe I can talk about a little bit about gunning anyways, and what I look for in gunning. I'm going to try doing a little tonk here and try to throw my feelings of what I look out for as a gunner. I like gunning, especially for good tankers. Usually good tankers such as Infamous and a lot of the other ones, like Alex and Maha and Tunk, Too Strong. A lot of them don't really need gunners, but it is always helpful to have them to keep an extra eye out for C4 guys and Jihad Jeeps and repairs. Infamous, as I know, especially with the other tanks, not the Abrams, not the fat one. He's really good with this tank, but in other tanks, he's usually an aggressive tanker himself. He likes to attack the flags that need to be attacked, go where there's a lot of enemies, and just absolutely annihilate with or without any gunners. I have a hard time keeping up with kills with him while being a gunner, because he usually gets the kill before I can. That's why I always try to look at the opposite direction of who you're tanking for. That way, if anybody tries to come up behind him, you will be able to have a better advantage than he is. And if he gets down, see right there, usually I get out to start repairing when the tank health is around 75 below percent of the vehicle health. I try to get out and repair it back up to 85 to 90, and sometimes even all the way up to 100. I tend to not let get out and repair a whole lot unless we get into sticky situations, such this video will have later on in the footage. I try to let the tank move around as much as possible. That's what I like as a tanker. I don't like to rely on just sitting in one spot for a repairman to just repair me unless I am stuck in a corner. I like to be able to be as aggressive as I can, move around, dodge RPGs when I need to, and be able to kill the enemies efficiently without them killing us first. Nice jet shot right here, you did. That jet was going pretty slow, but it was pretty cool. You usually gets a bunch of jets in a lot of games. But anyways, yeah, so as a tanker, I know that, and so for me being a repairman, I'm not expecting him to wait for me. I'm pretty much going to try to repair him as much as possible, hop back in so he can get back out there into the action and into the heat. And he's smart enough to know if things get too sticky and the situations are too risky, he'll back out of the way and go find somewhere where we can both repair the tank, or I can just repair it, and we wouldn't die from too many RPGs. Another thing, if I notice that he's shooting at somebody off to the distance to the left, say there's a few people off to the left that he's shooting at, and I see people off to the right, I'm going to end up shooting the people off to the right, opposite of where he's shooting, because I don't want him out. The main objective for a tanker and a gunner is to kill as many people around the tank as possible together, oppositely from each other, unless that was just like that Jeep that you just saw that came up. I spotted him off from the distance, so I started shooting at him because I knew he was going to come for the tank, and then he noticed it, and then we both attacked it. But if there's different infantry everywhere, we try to not focus on the same infantry, but focus on different ones that are around us. That way we can kill more people in a short period of time. We seem to have a lot of those jihads coming after us, and he's really good, even without gunners, to spot off those jihads as soon as possible to not be able to get killed by the C4. He's really good at that. He uses canister shell and AP shell. There's not much that have changed, I believe, from his skills. He'll use the AP shell right here to kill that guy behind that box to get him with the splash damage. The AP shell has a lot more splash damage than any of the other shells. I'm not too worried about that Jeep because he's underneath us and he got destroyed down there. But always check your minimap as a gunner. If you have a proximity scanner on as a gunner, it's a good thing to have. Always look for the Doritos, and as soon as you see the closest Dorito towards you, go ahead and kill him. Right there, I noticed that was a mine that went off, so go ahead and repair him a little bit. And it got to 81. There's another guy that helped us out. So it's about this getting close to the period where we ran into a sticky situation, which is pretty badass. We handled it pretty efficiently. So other things such as choppers and see right here what I'm doing. I'm trying to get us. I got him with the disable with the straw. That way he has one shell to kill him. It's usually good for a gunner to be able to jump out, get one RPG into the tank. Always watch out behind in case somebody else is trying to. Whenever you hear an RPG hit your tank and you know which direction that came from, automatically go to that direction as a gunner to try to kill him before he gets more RPGs into your tank. That way you can repair, get your tank level back up, and be able to go on with the rampage. Now what I was talking about with the choppers is that the choppers usually aren't as much as a threat, like unless they're using laser guider, but attack choppers are a really big threat. Usually we have an advantage for that. We can determine when to hit the active protection so that we can be safe from the rocket pods and the gunner seat. Gunner's TV missile. One thing to notice, or one thing to take note for if you're the tanker yourself, don't try to move around when you hit the active protection, because if you're moving around at the same time while you have it on, the active protection isn't going to take much effect. You have to sit still for it to take effect. So just completely stall yourself and be able to let the active protection do its job by protecting the tank, and then when it goes out, then move. Right here, there's two tanks coming up, so I decided to get out while he puts his shells into those other tanks, and I'll keep them repaired. I don't try to go a full burst. I was getting shot right there to the left, so I jumped in right away before having to die. Usually, Infamous, he carries medic. That way, if somebody is gunning for him, he'll be able to repair you. But right now, or not repair you, revive you if you die. And I'll work as just one repairman. But right now he's using a repair engineer, so we're both using that effectively. Those tanks are still coming, so what I'm going to do is get in the back here and try to repair them He's up to 100. I'm gonna get one straw off before the tank comes. I got him with a 29% or 20 hit percent damage, and he's gonna knock him down even more. So I'm gonna repair him. I'm not gonna burst it all the way through because there's a period where the repair torch isn't gonna work, and if the health gets down low enough, that repair torch isn't gonna do much if you burn it out right away. So try to burst your repair torch in rhythm with the shells that are hitting your tank. Right here is badass. He got the other tank damaged to where they jumped out, and then he jumped out, hit that guy with an RPG. Then I jumped in the tanker seat, and then I shot the other tank with a AP shell that was reloaded, and he was repairing. That way we work as an efficient team without even any communication. If you're really experienced with tanks and you know the protocols, you can work in sync without even communicating with each other at all. You're just communicating through the battle itself and knowing what to expect, predicting different scenarios. Right here, I knew he was going to stay in this area, so I was determined to just sit back, repair him as much as possible, look from both sides, always checking your mini-map. There's a bunch of red over there to the right, so we're both looking that way. Didn't notice too much of what was going on with the left. Noticed that there's two choppers in the air. I'm not really threatened by that attack chopper because he was going off into the distance. The little bird, isn't a threat because he has miniguns, and without using laser guider. Infamous is really not somebody you really want to come up to when you're in attack, when you're in any of the choppers.
Okay, I'll be up in a minute.
He'll have more of a chance of killing you than probably 80% of the tankers out there, not including all competitive tankers. Most tankers on his skill level, and I'm flying against, if I know I'm on the opposite team with a tanker that skilled such as he is, I will not get out, or I will not even focus on that tank. I'm going to fly high above him so that he won't be able to shoot me with his AP shell, and I'll try to notice him from a distance as well because they can shoot you from long distances. Their set of skills. Another thing that I really take note is that always know your positions. We're getting shot here from the back, so flipped around. I'm going to help him shoot at the RPGs that are attacking us. Always go for the RPG first. There's a guy here to the left, but he wasn't attacking us, so I wasn't really focused on him. Now I went to focus on him, and he was already dead by the time I looked over there, so I wasn't so worried. If you're in a tank too, and there's flags captured behind you, just like what Infamous did here, you notice that flags are being captured behind us. So what our situation is, you always want to be on the side of your deployment of the flags being captured. So if there's flags, closest flags to your deployment are captured, you want to go back, recapture those positions, and push your team forward. You never want to have a give me flag taken, just like in clan matches. We always want to have that give me flag, and the flags that you need is wanting to take the most flags closest to your deployment and try to push them back to their deployment. That's the whole objective of conquest. So never try to go out in the middle of the battle where you're surrounded by enemy flags. You always want to be on your side of the flags when you're tanking, because if you're on the opposite side and you're surrounded by enemy flags, you have a high tendency and a higher chance of dying faster, and you're going to lose your ability to attack the enemy and help your team capture points from the flag and get kills. You as a tanker and you as a repairman are one of the most important people to have in a capture the flag conquest gameplay. If your tank goes down, you're allowing infantry to move in more efficiently to attack other infantry, and then having their tanks push forward just like Tonk says, these tanks are made for really killing infantry. You got the machine guns, you got the light machine guns, you got the canister shell, which works very efficiently if you work it right, and the AP shell to work against infantry, and really try to rely on your team to push RPGs into the enemy tanks. So it's really important to keep your tanks alive. I used to play a lot of obliteration. People always love to get the bomb and automatically get in the tank and think that they're going to just survive throughout the whole game. I hated it because I knew once the bomb is in the tank is going to go down. That's not the objective that you want to play in obliteration. You want to be able to, it's the same concept with Conquest Large. If the tank gets destroyed right away, you're not going to have a defending mechanic, you know, killing machine to push the enemy team back, kill as many enemies as possible, and keep defending your team. So that's what tanks are. Really are a team defender. It helps defense, and think of them as a lineman in football. They're the ones protecting your quarterback. Now he died right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope I made sense to you. We weren't communicating. He ended with 68. I jumped in the game a little after where he started. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll have more footage up for you guys later. Peace out, and put a like and a comment in the description. Let me know how you feel about it. Thanks. Peace out.